I know. It worked earlier. Okay, just after I had talked to the band about hating to start late, our plug was unplugged. So we are. Sorry about that. So I'm glad to see you here. Talk about gorgeous weather. Middle of the week, they were saying it was going to rain on Sunday. I don't think so. So it's great. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Tonight we're going to play the kids' favorites. We're going to play songs from Walt Disney Pictures. So we hope you enjoy this concert. We're going to start a concert as we always do. As you are able, please stand for the national anthem. Okay, Frederick Joseph Ricketts, probably not a name you're familiar with, was an English composer of marches for band. Under the pen name of Kenneth J. Alford, he composed marches which are considered to be great examples of the art. He was the bandmaster in the British Army and Royal Marines, director of music. Conductor Sir Vivian Dunn called Ricketts the British March King. He had to paraphrase that because he couldn't call him the March King because that was John Philip Sousa. So he was the British March King. His march, the Army of the Nile, was his next to last composition in 1941. He died in 1944. It was dedicated to General Wavell, some British name, for halting the advance of the Axis powers in Egypt. We hope you enjoy Army of the Nile. And we stop at the we don't do this yet. Here we go. Beauty and the Beast. One thing that's really interesting around my house is during the days of concerts, we get to listen to music from the movies. My son actually goes and plays these movies. So today I got to hear all of the music from Beauty and the Beast. It's the 1991 American animated musical romantic fantasy film directed by Gary Trousdale and Kurt Wise, based on the French fairy tale. It was produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation and released by Walt Disney Pictures. Set in 18th century France, an enchantress transforms a selfish prince into a monster, a beast, as punishment for his cruelty. Years later, a young woman, Belle, offers the beast her own freedom in exchange for her father's. To break the spell, the beast must earn Belle's love before the last petal falls from his enchanted rose, lest he remains a monster forever. We'll see if the last petal falls before the end of this song. Here is Beauty and the Beast. You've Got a Friend in Me is a song by Randy Newman that was used as the main theme song for the 1995 Disney Pixar animated film Toy Story. The song was nominated for both the Academy Award for Best Original Song and the Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song. Wonderful. This was a real new movie back when my kids were really young, and so I got to watch Toy Story a million times. So I hope you enjoy this wonderful song by Randy Newman, You've Got a Friend in Me. Colors of the Wind is a song written by composer Alan Menken and lyricist Stephen Schwartz for Walt Disney Pictures' 33rd animated feature film, Pocahontas. Colors of the Wind is a pop ballad. The song's lyrics are about animism and respecting nature, finding its roots in an indigenous Native American culture. Here is the beautiful ballad, Colors of the Wind. Everything's good. Everything's good. I don't remember. Thank you. You can tell I didn't conduct that one this afternoon. This afternoon I was playing tuba because we had a tuba player that texted me at 6:30 this morning saying he wasn't going to be here, which, Gordon, hopefully you get to feeling better. So I was playing tuba this afternoon, and we had one of our horn players, except we were having him, he conducted it, and then it ended up, we can play the pieces with one tuba part, but we can't play without any horn parts. So we had 2 horns tonight, which is really good because some of these things are really horn intensive. So I'm going to give the horns, I'm going to give the people behind me a little break as I give you the rundown of our next piece. Cars is an American animated film series and media franchise set in a world populated by anthropomorphic vehicles. That means the cars talk. Our car driver, Lightning McQueen, who gets lost on the way to California for a tiebreaker race in the Piston Cup, a famous race worldwide. He ends up in a little town called Radiator Springs. It's on Route 66 that has been bypassed and forgotten when Interstate 40 was built. He accidentally wrecks the road and is sentenced to fix it. During this time there, he meets Mater, everybody remember the record, who becomes his best friend. He also comes across Doc Hudson, who used to be the famous race car called the Hudson Hornet. I lost my place. Okay. Until a career-ending crash in 1954. After Lightning fixes the road, Doc Hudson no longer wants him in his town, but it doesn't take long for Hudson to realize how much Lightning has helped Radiator Springs. So he goes back to being the Hudson Hornet and becomes McQueen's pit crew chief, while most of the Radiator crew's folks become his pit crew. Lightning is about to win the big race at the end of the movie when the bad guy, what's his name, Chick King crashed where did he crash? The king. He was the king. And so, I should have just watched the movie today. Lightning McQueen stops and helps the king across the finish line, resulting in the bad guy finishing first. Okay? Chick wins the Piston Cup, but after being third in the last lap, he was booed. Praise for sportsmanship. Despite his loss, Lightning is offered to be the new face and sponsor of Danoco, but he declines and decides to stay with his ride in the Danoco helicopter just as he promised. The film ends with Lightning setting up his racing headquarters in Radiator Springs, therefore putting it back on the map. Here is music from Cars. Y'all rested? Okay. Guess what? Okay, boy, it's so nice seeing you here. Our next to last concert of the year. Only one more left after tonight. Great. A Whole New World is from Aladdin, is the signature song from Disney's 1992 animated feature film, Aladdin, with music by Alan Menken and lyrics by Tim Rice. A duet originally recorded by singers Brad Kane and Leah Salonga in their respective roles as the singing voices of the main characters, Aladdin and Jasmine, the ballad serves as both the film's love and theme song. A Whole New World describes Aladdin showing the confined princess a life of freedom and the pair's acknowledgement of their love for each other while riding on a magic carpet. So here's our tribute to this magic carpet. Here is Aladdin. No, no repeat. I got some people up here at front. I guess they must know it's our favorite time of the night. It's Children's March time. Hey kids, come on down and march with us around the park. And I will give you a hint. We normally have a sweet surprise at the end of this march, but tonight we're not going to have a sweet surprise. We're going to have candy I had left. And I'm sitting here going, if we don't give 2 out to her this week, we may give 4 or 5 next week. So you better come next week, because we might have 4 or 5 candies. We'll let you go around and get as many candies as you can get through a line. Okay, so our march tonight is The Freelance. It was written by American March King John Philip Sousa. So kids, let's march around the park to the glorious strains of John Philip Sousa's The Freelance.
Okay, everybody start on your left foot, which is on this side, okay? Right now, just make sure.
Okay, while the kids are getting their candy, I'd like to remind you that Westwinds Brass Band is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and relies solely on donations to take care of expenses such as music purchases, operating expenditures, and storage unit fees. None of the musicians or director are paid. This is a labor of love. We do these concerts to share our love of music with you. So, over here on the left, we have a little red box. If you are so inclined and enjoyed the concert, we would really appreciate cash with you, which normally I don't have cash on me. Go to our Facebook page, which is Westwinds Brass Band of Lubbock, and at the top of their page, there's a pinned post that will direct you to PayPal, and you can make a donation directly to the band through PayPal. We appreciate your help in keeping the Westwinds Brass Band a vibrant and growing organization that will be entertaining Lubbock audiences for years to come. Make sure you follow and share our Facebook page so that we can continue to expand our fan base. Okay, this is my favorite Disney song of all time. My favorite Disney song of all time. I was gonna put it in next week's concert, except I put it in this week's concert. But just so you know, this is my favorite Disney song of all time, and mainly because I was a really youngster when this movie came out. It was it came out in like 1960 something. I know I was young. I was a young kid, and I just loved 101 Dalmatians. It scared the Jesus out of me because I thought Cruella was going to get those Dalmatians and make them into a coat. But okay, let's talk about Cruella de Vil. It was the only song in Disney's 101 Dalmatians, which is really pretty weird. Most of Disney's movies had lots of songs, but in 101 Dalmatians, Cruella de Vil was it. And the reason it was written is because Cruella de Vil was Anita's, Roger's wife, Anita, one of her friends, and she brought her over to meet it. And that's when she saw the Dalmatians, and she saw this fur coat with little white and black dots, you know. But after he met Cruella, Roger made a jazzy song mocking her. So here is that jazzy song that Roger wrote mocking Cruella. Here is Cruella de Vil. Very seldom. One, two, three. like I said, that's my favorite Disney song of all time. I just love that one, don't you? How many people like that one? Yay! Okay, well, you know, it's that time of the evening. Our last song. These concerts they've been about 54 minutes every week, so I think that's about right. That way, you know, we get out here before it starts. So, America the Beautiful is one of the most beloved and popular American patriotic songs. This arrangement was originally written for orchestra and then for concert band by Hollywood Bowl Symphony Orchestra conductor Carmen Dragon. Our arrangement for brass band was written by former Westwinds band member Richard Crowley. Really do appreciate you being with us tonight, and we hope you join us next Sunday, July 13th at 8 o'clock for our final concert of the season. Final time to hear this band. And it's entitled A Fond Farewell. And it's going to be a farewell for it'll be the last time we'll see you this summer, but it'll be the last time that I wave my hands in front of this band. So show up and come for my last concert and for this band's last concert of the season. I picked the music that I enjoyed the most, except for Corella DeVille. So come out and celebrate another successful summer concert series. Hopefully we'll see you then. Here is America the Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Come out next week for the final concert of this series. We'd love to see you. And kids, next week you'll get even more candy because I've got lots left at home. So see you next week.